Yo, how is it bouncing, guys? Hope all of you are doing super great today. We have a ton of new info about AirPods 2. Better sound quality is on the way. New color is on the way. We have some other details about some iPads that are going to be refreshed soon, and so much more to talk about. Drop a like down below, and of course, hit subscribe so you're not missing out on any future AirPods 2 news because they're going to be pretty crazy. I feel like I've been talking about AirPods 2 forever. I know you guys are dying to get your hands on this product, and I am too. We've heard so much about them that they're going to possibly get a slight redesign with some better health features. We know they're going to have hands-free Siri functionality, but aside from that, better sound quality, better waterproofing, maybe new colors, that was all speculative until today for at least two of those features. So we got a brand new report from My Smart Price, and honestly, I've found My Smart Price to be pretty accurate in the past, so I feel pretty good about this info. First detail that I found interesting because it was a little bit different than what we've been hearing in the past is that the general design of AirPods 2 is going to be pretty much identical to the design of AirPods 1. They're not going to get a crazy redesign. They're not going to get squarish or get a more aggressive design language. There's going to be a lot of changes on the inside, but on the outside, they're gonna look pretty much just like this, a little wireless earbud. There's a catch to that though, a really good catch. My Smart Price reporting that new color is coming. Not red or anything crazy, but white is gonna stick around for the second gen, and black. Black is finally coming. So if you've wanted to get your hands on space gray or glossy black AirPods, that's a color option that should be on the way, which I'm so excited for. AirPods are great the way that they look, you know? They're pretty fresh looking, but they stand out a lot. If I could get some black AirPods in my ears, that is definitely the color option I'm gonna be going for. Let me know down below in the comments whether or not you'd be choosing white or black AirPods, or if you even care about AirPods in the first place. So that was a pretty big bombshell here. Nobody had before today reported that black was going to be a color option, but to me it makes sense. Apple usually expands the color options down the line, and black AirPods are something that most people, I think, would definitely be down for. Next up, on the second generation AirPods, we're said to be getting an improved grip here, which I'm really happy to hear about, because if you've ever used AirPods, whether you're touching the glossy case or the glossy AirPods themselves, they get really slippery, especially if you sweat after a workout. They usually tend to fall to my hand a decent amount. So the new grip is going to be similar, according to this report, to back glass on a Google Pixel. I've only used the Pixel once before, and the back glass felt pretty similar to how AirPods feel, so I'm not really sure how to give you a better point of comparison there for how it's going to feel. But if it's any more grippy than AirPods 1, I think that's going to be a major plus, because these can get really slippery. I was hoping we would see a matte finish for AirPods 2, something like what's on the second generation Apple Pencil, where they're not as shiny or reflective, just because that generally does give you a better grip. We don't get that point of comparison here, but something better is hopefully coming. Now that's what's happening on the outside of AirPods 2, but on the inside, there's going to be some big changes. Number one, improved sound quality in the bass department. I've never personally found these to be very lackluster with bass. It just hasn't been exceptional or very beatsy, but Apple is reportedly bringing improved bass response to second generation AirPods by redesigning some parts of the inside of AirPods. Alongside with improved bass for AirPods 2, new sensors are also going to be on their way. DigiTimes reporting that these sensors are going to for sure have a health focus, with heart monitoring now being a reported feature for AirPods 2, so you could put it inside of your ear and then hopefully get your heart rate just by putting your AirPod in your ear. I think that'd be cool. I mean, the Apple Watch already does it, but if you don't own an Apple Watch, it'd be a bonus feature for buying a set of AirPods 2. Another feature that I like to see is in-ear temperature monitoring. Nobody's been reporting that. I've just been speculating that that could be a feature, because I think it'd be dope to be able to take your temperature with a heat sensor or coldness sensor inside of the AirPods. You could take your temperature through your ear. That'd be pretty dope. And rounding out the internal changes to AirPods here is actually no change to battery life. So My Smart Price is reporting that the battery capacity in each individual AirPod, and I would assume in the battery charging case as well, going to remain unchanged from AirPods 1 to AirPods 2. I was really hoping for better battery life, because as my AirPods 2 get around the 1.5 to 2 year, well, they're over 2 years old for me now, they're definitely being pretty degraded. So the battery life is not nearly as good now as it was when I bought them. It seems to be a really steep degradation here. So they slowly got less and less battery, and then all of a sudden they just started dipping down a lot. And the battery life for me is significantly worse in my second year of owning them than the first year. I'd really like to hear what you guys think about battery life down below. I know at totally varies on a case-by-case basis depending on how often you use your AirPods, how long you have them in your ears, how long you leave them in the charging case. Multifactorial equation for sure, but I've never been blown away by AirPods 1 battery life, and I was hoping it would get better year over year. Maybe Apple will do something in the software or something else in the hardware that will make it better, but what we're hearing now is that the internal capacity will remain unchanged. And rounding out this report, they claim to know the pricing for AirPods 2 as well. They're saying they're going to be $200, more likely $199 here in the United States. And that's pretty crazy because while we've heard AirPods 2 could get more expensive moving forward with future generation models, a $40 price increase year over year, or I guess generation over generation, is a lot for, at the end of the day, what is earbuds. These are great. We all love them. You're probably watching this video if you're excited for the second gen models, but $200 for AirPods at the end of the day is $200 for AirPods on top of your $1,000 smartphone, on top of your $5,000 Mac computer. I don't know. Apple's pricing has been getting real weird lately, and I hope they don't increase in price at all, but I wanted to share that info with you guys regardless, just so you know that you might need to save up a couple extra dollars, $40 to be exact, for the newest version of AirPods, which could actually be launching in spring of 2019, or at least the first half of the year. Many sources are pointing to a March event for Apple, where it's very likely that AirPods will be released, but according to the fresh report from Digitimes that also came out very early in the morning today, they will almost for sure be launching in the first half of 2019. My bets are on a special March event for Apple, and I made a video up here if you want to learn more about everything that Apple's going to be announcing then, but I'm sure they're going to come in March. If not, should be coming before July of 2019. So either way, just a couple of months away. And just real quick before talking about the new iPad news that we got today, the same article from My Smart Price that we just talked about also says that AirPower is coming this spring, that Apple has apparently figured all the coils out, so they're going to work, the device won't overheat or cause any issues, which was purportedly why it was delayed in the first place. So if you're one of those, like, I don't know, actually a decent amount of people that is still looking forward to the AirPower wireless charging mat, I am certainly one of those people. Again, now being rumored, it's not canceled, it's not delayed forever, but it should be coming sometime this spring. Again, likely time frame for release is sometime in March and an Apple March event. All right, next up, we've got some new info about the iPad Mini 5. Again, this is another product widely expected to be announced at a potential Apple March event, if they do end up holding one, which I really do think they will. According to a new report from Maka Takara, who's given us some new details about the iPad Mini 5, they say that largely it's going to look exactly like the iPad Mini 4, but the mic is going to be repositioned on the back from, I think, the left or right side to smack in the middle, very similar to how the iPad 6 is. And we saw these leaked photos a while back that show that the iPad Mini cellular design, like the little cellular bands that have to go physically on the device, could end up looking like this. So external change is going to be very limited. A much bigger focus is a little bit more boring, but it's going to be on the inside. While the screen size is probably going to remain the same, the bezels are going to remain the same, headphone jack's still going to be there, Touch ID will remain on the iPad Mini 5 rather than Face ID, even though Face ID would be super cool. Really, the only big change on the iPad Mini 5 is going to be the addition of what Maka Takara is reporting will be the Apple A10 processor. It could be the A10X processor. There is some confusion there in the report. They don't know for sure. We saw a leak of an A9 processor, which didn't make sense because it was so old a while back, that said it could be for the iPad Mini 5. But A10 for me sounds like a realistic middle ground. A10X Fusion, I think, would be the best option here, just because it would keep the iPad Mini fastest for the longest period of time. If Apple really wanted to be dope, they would throw an A11 inside of the iPad Mini. But an A10 or an A10X, I think, would still be good enough to satisfy the current base who is looking to buy an iPad Mini 5. It's a product that I'll definitely be picking up to review, but I really like my 11-inch iPad Pro, and I definitely don't plan to be switching from that anytime soon. Some people have been reporting that the iPad Mini 5 could actually see a price reduction, so maybe the iPad Mini 5 drops down to $329, like the current budget iPad 6 is priced at, but the iPad 7, which is going to replace the iPad 6, again, likely in March of this year, is going to be getting a bigger screen, a faster processor, and slimmer bezels, so maybe Apple sort of flip-flops the pricing and increases the price on the iPad 7 that's coming, and then lowers the price of the iPad Mini, just because Apple generally equates bigger screen size with a higher price tag. We've seen that in the iPhone lineup and pretty much everywhere else with Apple. So that is the latest on AirPods 2 and the iPad lineup that I wanted to share with all of you today. If you enjoyed it, if you found it useful, it always helps me out if you drop a like down below and hit subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos in the future. I've been Sam. I hope all of you are doing super swell today, and I'll catch you in my next video.